Hey, this is Brett Karstens. I'm the Haunted Medium, and you are listening to Bigfoot Club Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Please go to our website at www.bigfootclubpodcast.com. Check out our merch and all our episodes. Also, please look for our social media on all platforms at Bigfoot Club #1. If you have a Bigfoot or paranormal story or just need help in your area, please email us at bigfootclub1@gmail.com. Also, check out Matt Knapp's Bigfoot Crossroads on all platforms. Please check out Blair Dominguez, my lovely wife's podcast, Silent Serenity, on Spotify.
Hey, everybody. Bigfoot Club. We're not going to talk about seasons. I'm here with Steven. Steven, say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
And we also got in, and not in studio, but on the club show, Matthew, Reginald Bartholomew Nappers.
Woo! Welcome to the club,
what
man.
season is this?
It's season 5.
Yeah. Bonus episode.
Season 5.
Season 5. So, Matthew, what's going on in the Bigfoot Crossroads world? I don't know why I said it like that.
World.
Well, something a little bit out of the ordinary for me. Vic Cundiff of Dogman Encounters Radio and Bigfoot Eyewitness Radio and Paranormal Eyewitness Radio and Vic Cundiff's Monster Show and Hey, This is Vic and the Mr. Cundiff podcast.
Wow.
And whatever other show he has. He actually reached out to me and asked me if I do a Dogman episode this week, and he's kind of like organized like a multi-day event leading up to Halloween where each night is a different show, and tonight was my episode.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah. It's premiering right now. People are listening to it right now.
Hold on.
Wait.
It's premiering right now, and what are you doing here?
Well, I mean, I don't need to be there. I was already there once.
You lived it.
Yeah.
So that they had.
I walked the red carpet, so I'm good.
Matt, well, we feel honored.
Super honored.
That's pretty wicked, man.
It is. I just for the record, I would. Vic listens to the show. I don't know if he does. Probably doesn't. But if he's listening to the show, we would like him on this show.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he does.
So
yeah, we'll talk about Dogman and all that.
Yeah, Vic, come on the show.
I've never talked to anybody that doesn't listen to Bigfoot Club.
Yeah. Wow. Must be a small.
And whenever I do talk to somebody that doesn't listen to Bigfoot Club, I quit talking to them. So
yes.
Okay. So you must have stopped talking to a lot of people.
I mean, I talk to you guys.
Yeah, but you haven't. That would be weird. You stop talking. Well, you do the show. You do the show, but you don't listen to your own podcast? No. Well, I don't need to listen to it. I lived it.
You lived it.
I lived it.
So,
what you got to drink over there?
I have a Coke Zero.
I have a Coke Zero and I have a strawberry shake.
Man, you're living the life.
I am living the life.
So
living high on the hog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what did we want to talk about tonight, guys?
I want to say out the gate, rip Matt Perry.
Oh yeah, we got that.
I had to tell Robert that while we're driving home, and I was like, "Man, Matthew Perry died. What the heck?
Drowned in a hot tub.
Yeah, a jacuzzi.
That's weird.
That sounds like like a drug deal. I don't like spread a rumor.
I don't like to speculate.
Yeah,
I know he had trouble.
Right.
But he was sober. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that maybe he hit his head.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had a heart attack.
Could have had a heart attack.
Passed out.
I had heard as a kid. I don't know if this is true or not, but people always kind of warned you that it was possible if the water was too hot or whatever, you could pass out in a hot tub.
Oh man!
So I wonder maybe that happened. I don't know.
Maybe he was exhausted. Got in the hot tub, passed out, drowned.
See that's just terrible, man.
That's a terrible way to go.
It's preventable.
Yeah, stand up.
Yeah, stand up. Or know the difference between too hot and just right, you know?
I mean, I don't know. Was anybody wear a safety harness or going in the jacuzzi? Probably not.
I mean, don't go in a jacuzzi alone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, have a hot babe with you or something, or
have somebody with you. It doesn't have to be a hot babe.
Okay, sorry.
It can be his maid or something. I don't know.
Nothing's lonelier than a solo jacuzzi.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. You know,
that's called a bathtub.
Oh wait,
I'm good. I'm good.
I was about to say we lost him.
Reel it back.
Reel it back.
So,
good times. But that's
Yeah, but I guess he won't be making that Friends reunion.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah, or he's not going to be doing
it. It is way too early for those kind of comments.
The total 9 yards.
I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
Well,
I'm not. I kind of like it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as you condone it.
Yeah.
It's Bigfoot Club humor.
Yes,
it belongs there, right?
Yeah. There's humor in it. Yeah. We're pretty funny, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got big Halloween plans?
Robert, do you have any plans on?
I have to work that night.
Oh yeah.
I got to work on Halloween. I work during the day. I mean, during the evenings now, 3 to 11. So
I love that band.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good. I guess it's a good shift.
Yeah, it is.
I like 311 too.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Come original.
Yeah, man.
Amber.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that's not a song.
Amber?
So no.
I said
don't
so.
Have big Halloween plans as an employee.
No, I don't.
They don't do Halloween parties there. Like
no, the building closes down at 6, and it gets pretty quiet after that.
There's got to be a company there on that building that is probably going to do a Halloween party there.
There might be. There's
because that there's that one group that is like, oh, they get all that stuff last minute and they don't even.
Yeah, I don't want to say what company it is because I don't want to do that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, don't dox yourself or
or
anybody else.
No,
but I mean, if everybody clears out at 6, maybe you could have a Halloween party.
Yeah, I guess I could. It'd be me and my coworker Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I call him Big Money Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Big Money.
Just tell him to wear a costume.
Yeah, you can wear like the Army Rangers and say you're from Band of Brothers.
Yeah,
he can be Sobel, and you can be Malarkey. Slang for bullshits.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Matt, do you have any plans for the Crossroads?
No.
No Halloween special?
No. This Dogman episode was kind of the Halloween special this year. Since I agreed to do that, it was like, well, that's just because I usually put out my shows on Friday.
Yeah.
And this is a Saturday. And so I just decided that, I'll just do this as the Halloween special this year. Normally I just do like a narrated episode where I tell some Bigfoot tales or something. But this year I'm just doing this.
You know, I really, really enjoyed the Jonathan Dodd episode. That was a really good one.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't... Because I know I talked to him like way in the very beginning whenever I started doing a podcast, and I asked him to come on to the show, and he was going, Bob, I don't have any Bigfoot stories. I don't have any, I haven't never seen one. I'm interested in it. And then, he's on your show, which, he's actually traveled around and done some stuff now, and he had some pretty good stories.
Yeah, actually, I asked him to come on my show way, way, way back, and he told me the same thing. He's like, man, I don't have anything to talk about. I've never been out or anything. Mm-hmm. But now he's a well-traveled cryptozoologist and cryptid artist. So
he had that really amazing story that he said that some lady walked up to him. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was an older lady, came up to him and told him that she was walking down a country road, and she saw a squirrel come out of the bush on like across the road, and then it was a raccoon, and then a deer, and then 2 baby Bigfoots. We're like almost like they were playing with these animals.
Yeah, it made me think of like Dreamcatcher.
Yeah,
that scene where like all the animals are like running.
Yep. Great movie, by the way.
Great story.
So, but yeah, he had some pretty good stories, and And I liked his answer on the AI stuff.
So, like, my question would, if I would have talked to that lady, did she feel threatened, or did she feel like, because you know, like when you told me that story, I go, you know damn well if you see a baby animal, there's always the mother nearby.
Yeah, and it's pissed off.
And it's pissed off, and it's you know, it's protective. So you're seeing two baby Bigfoot. There's not a doubt in my mind that there was a Bigfoot watching her already.
Yeah, it'd be probably like two parents.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't get too deep in that story, right, Matt? Or
No.
yeah,
that always like crosses my mind. Like, damn, that's oof.
I don't know. It's like this whole thing where, jeez, I'm not saying it's not a good story, because it's a good story, right?
Yeah.
But like, I also look at it from the perspective of, so this lady would have had to have already believed or been interested in the subject, because otherwise she's seeing two creatures that she doesn't recognize and has never seen before. Why would she think they were young ones? How would she know they were young ones?
Yeah.
Unless she instantly recognized them as like, oh, those are young Bigfoot.
Unless they were smaller than a deer.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Maybe,
a raccoon's smaller than a deer.
I mean,
yeah, that's true, but I don't know.
Maybe
you would have to instantly recognize it as a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Why didn't she say, hey, these were two chimpanzees?
Yeah.
Or, spider monkeys or whatever, But no, she said Bigfoot, right? So
I don't know. I think there's a lot going on that people don't realize whenever it comes to the Bigfoot stuff. I really think that there's something tied to us. Like we subconsciously remember these things through our DNA or something. I think that's why some people have the emotional reactions that they do. Or I've talked to a lot of people who Bigfoot was never on their radar, and then they have an encounter, and I'll ask them, so like, what did you think whenever you saw it? Did you just think this was like a monster? I mean, what was going on through your mind? They're like, oh no, I instantly recognized it as a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah, I know. Whenever we talk to John Doe on our story on Bigfoot Club, and he saw this thing jump out of his ridge and like land in front of them, he just equated it to a monster. He never said Bigfoot, and his brother-in-law called it a critter. He had a critter problem. So critter problem and monster. Those are the two words that he described until I guess he started looking into it and he figured it was a Bigfoot, and then reached out to me and started talking to me about it. But yeah,
that's a big downplay on that.
And I've talked to other people who were like that, who didn't even realize that it was a Bigfoot until like years later. I don't know. It's just such a weird phenomenon.
Have you talked on your show about that Colorado Bigfoot footage?
No.
Does that bug you? Does that bug you that it's got so much attention?
Yeah, it makes me really angry. It does.
Matt's like, it was me in the costume. Guys, calm down.
No, I mean, like, it's just one of those. Okay, so I understand that not everybody's like this, and I'm not saying that I'm anything special at all. But like, if I'm watching something on TV or in a movie or on the computer or whatever, and I see like computer generated animation of any kind, I instantly recognize it as like computer generated. Like I know, I can tell the difference in the lighting, and like they're getting better. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park was amazing, but like you can still tell that, like, I don't know. And it's kind of the same way with all the Bigfoot video stuff. Like whenever I see a Bigfoot video, I can instantly tell if it's a costume, and I could instantly tell that was a costume.
Yeah, it looked like he was wearing like some big cargo pants with like some hair attached to it.
Yeah, and then, like the smooth, silky hair that's all in uniform length and everything, and the big Harry and the Henderson's forehead, and the dark eye sockets where there's holes in the mask. I mean, I don't know. It was just obvious to me. And the other thing about that is So, like, I don't know, here in Oklahoma, we're kind of close to Missouri, and there's this place called Silver Dollar City. And Silver Dollar City has a train you can ride that goes around and everything. And this train in Colorado is kind of like that. It's just like a tourist train. Like, you buy tickets and you just go on this scenic train ride. And they're always doing special events and stuff. And this exact same train had another Bigfoot sighting like 10 years ago on the same route. And it got a bunch of publicity. And it's based out of this really small tourist town. And in that town, there's a Bigfoot museum and gift shop where they like host Bigfoot events, and they use Bigfoot as a theme for tourism.
Yeah.
And then this train just happens to spot Bigfoot twice on its route, and like pictures and video are taken.
Yeah, I was kind of saying on our show, I said we're supposed to believe it because it was on a train.
Yeah.
You know, there's video on the train.
Well, a lot of people focused on the people that like produced the video and like their story. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're the tourist on the train. Of course you're not in on it. We know you're not the hoax. Like, why are you focused on that? And I saw like a bunch of people like, you know how researchers are.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, I spoke to the woman who, took the photographs, and why? What like, what was that going to accomplish? Like, yeah, we know she took the photographs. We get it. Whatever. She's not in on it. That's not the person you should be speaking with. Why don't you call like the person that manages the train company and ask them about it?
My nephew was not my nephew. My cousin was saying it looked like a grown up Chaka from the Land of the Lost.
Who's that?
Joe. Looks like Chaka, but all grown up.
Chaka, yeah, Chaka's older brother.
What's his name?
Baca.
Ricky.
I like Ricky better.
Yeah, me too.
Chaka and then Ricky. Who's the favorite one? Nobody knows.
Who's the favorite son? I like it.
Yeah.
And plus, it also came out like at this time of year.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who's been around the Bigfoot world for a while, like you and I have, and Steven, you know that every year around Halloween and April Fool's Day, like that's when you get a lot of Bigfoot crap coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's time.
I remember one year, somebody said they sent me a message on Facebook, and they're like, did you see that news report on Channel 8 News out of Tulsa? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're telling me the story where like somebody saw a Bigfoot by the Arkansas River, and it was on Channel 8 News. And, this was back in the day before I became jaded and bitter in my Bigfoot endeavors. So I was like, oh my God, I got to find this. And I looked and looked and looked, couldn't find it. The story's not posted anywhere. Like it's not getting any traction. I'm like, what's going on? So I ended up reaching out to Channel 8 News and just like blowing up their inbox. And they finally responded back, and they're like, yeah, it was an April Fool's story. I thought everybody knew that.
Dang.
I was like, oh. And like the parks department here has used like Bigfoot several times in promotions, and like that's ended up in the Bigfoot world.
Yeah.
Using the same like costume that you always see whenever you Google Bigfoot costume.
Yeah, that was in like a trail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that one. That was awesome.
What jerks, man. Jerks.
It happens.
Well, I mean, most of the world doesn't think Bigfoot's real.
Yeah.
Well,
They just think it's like a joke or folklore, like, whatever. Like the Tooth Fairy. They see it at the same level. So they put out these stories as entertainment and do these gimmicks, just to boost tourism or whatever. And they don't see the harm in it. They don't understand that there's a bunch of obsessed people on Facebook, the internet, that are going to like dissect it and think that it's real and a cover up and a conspiracy and all this. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
I agree.
Annoying. I hate April Fool's jokes.
Yeah, I almost hate it as much as I hate people that troll our pages.
Yeah.
Do you guys got trolls?
Oh yeah.
Have you been getting a lot recently?
I have. It's
Me
always
too.
it's always like it's, and I'm not knocking any race here, okay, But it's always an older Caucasian person with like 6 or 7 friends.
I find the same thing on my page.
Yeah.
Same demographic. Of course, that's my major demographic. So, like, it's not really a shock to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's always the same type. And it's just so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous. I've probably banned, because at this point I just banned them, you know?
Yeah.
I've probably banned like 10 in the past week.
Yeah, I haven't got to that level yet. I like to comment with them first, and then I ban them. So,
well, okay. So I did just, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed one morning, and I went and, you know, checked the Facebook page, and there was this guy, and oh man, he was just so condescending that I had to engage with him before I banned him. But I did tell him, you know, to be fair, the first words I responded back with were, "You won't be here very much longer, but before you're gone, here's this."
yeah.
But he was just so stupid, man. Just like the stuff he was saying. And it was just like some random post. I don't even remember. I think it was like a picture of Patty or something.
Yeah, I get those a lot too.
He was telling me like, "Oh, you idiots, don't you know that like these guys admitted that they hoaxed this?" I was like, really? You've clearly done your homework if you think that these guys admitted that they hoaxed this. First off, one of them died in the 70s and never admitted anything. And the other one, Bob Gimlin, you know, like considered the salt of the earth in the Bigfoot community. Lots of Bigfooters worship him, consider him a very close friend.
Yeah.
He still goes to all the conventions. Like, has never changed his story one iota.
He's a busy dude, isn't he? I think he has a PR person now.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he charges to get on the podcast.
Probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear his PR person is a big famous star now. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's what I hear.
I like it. Anyway. So, what else is going on with the Crossroads?
Man, you're really interested in Bigfoot Crossroads, huh?
Yes, of course. I listen to your show a lot, so I just want you to know that I really, really enjoy your show.
Well, I mean, as you know, I have recently taken on more health issues. So there were some things that I had to move around and postpone. So I'm trying to get caught up with all those and get people scheduled. I do have one person coming up somewhat fairly soon on the show. I haven't scheduled anything with him, but I mean, he'll come on if I tell him to come on. Jonathan Brown of Washington.
Oh yeah.
Brown property thermal footage guy.
Old friend of yours, right?
Yeah. He used to be the original co-host of Bigfoot Crossroads.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
crazy.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was like 2000,
27, 30 years ago, something like that. I don't know. But we recently reconnected, and so I'm going to have him on and let him talk about the things that have happened over the past however many years that we were out of touch with one another.
Yeah.
He's still getting ongoing activity on his property.
He's in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've got a bunch of really nice, high quality audio recorders on his property that are specifically designed for outdoor wildlife recording that record for like days on end. And they've gotten some pretty interesting stuff. He sent me a few clips of some things that are just like pretty amazing, in my opinion.
Have you posted it on your page?
No.
Is that something that you keep close to the vest?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, whenever people send me stuff, I usually don't post it. I just figure that if they want me to post it, they'll tell me. But I figure, if they want something out, they'll put it out themselves. Okay. I don't want to, ruin anybody's trust or anything like that.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
There's an interesting photo, though, that recently got sent to me and was published from a game camera that looks like possibly the profile of a Bigfoot on all fours.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I've seen it. I can't tell.
Probably not.
Okay.
It didn't get a lot of traction. They were expecting it to get more traction than it did. It was sent to me by a member of a research group that put it out, and they received it from the witness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
what are your thoughts
on
on
them? How well they investigated it, I don't know. I didn't recognize it instantly as a mask that I'm familiar with or anything, but there's always that possibility, I think. But you got to investigate those things.
Yeah, I would actually like to see that. So let's see here. Yeah,
I'm just sending you some pictures of it.
Okay. Yeah, see the side. I see the side profile. Yeah, that looks like a forehead, a brow, a nose, a chin. I don't know what's on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like an arm and it's on its knuckles, or
Yeah. Okay.
it looks awfully straight lined. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I guess there's like other images taken from the camera that they've received, and they've done like overlays and stuff. And like if that is what it looks like, where the top of the head would be, roughly, is about 5 feet off the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty square jaw. Looks like kind of looks like Kurt Douglas.
Maybe it is.
So, I'll share this onto the Bigfoot Club page, and so people
that's
can
published.
Yeah, it's on. It's on Facebook. On I'm not gonna say which group has it right now.
Okay, all right.
So
as long as it's published,
yeah.
Published.
So, man. So,
I do have kind of a weird story.
Okay.
Nothing that happened or anything that I can think. I mean, stuff does randomly happen, but so there's this guy that brings me equipment for my health issues. Sort of a delivery service. He was dropping something off, and so like while he's here, he's like kind of going in and out of the house, back and forth, like loading stuff and unloading stuff. And he comes in at one point, and he said something about like, he's talking about my studio room. He's like, did that used to be a porch? I was like, yeah, we got it enclosed a few years ago. And he said, yeah, I thought so. It must have been like a window or a porch or something. He's like, is it haunted? And I was like, the porch? And he's like, the house. And I was like, yes, it is. As a matter of fact. And I guess he's like really into ghost hunting.
So,
and was getting ready to go to like the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs.
Wow. Was it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's like a sensitive, or
I don't. We talked about it after that, but it was kind of like, I don't know. It was just so random that it kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But he deals with like a lot of elderly people that live in older homes and stuff. And he said that like, yeah, he's been in quite a few homes that have stuff going on. And he said, he was talking about this one house, and he was like, man, there's this one house. I mean, as soon as you walk in, it's just crazy. Like all kinds of stuff happens there all the time.
Man, that's kind of cool how he picked that up though.
Yeah. That was kind of weird.
You know, I don't think I'm sensitive to stuff, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things that you can't turn it on, turn it off. It just either happens or it doesn't. And
honestly, I don't think you were put in that position to where it's turned on.
Right.
I think I worry about that sometimes because of what happened. I just think it's a thing where it's got to be at the right place at the right time, whether it's a good or bad situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I think you did the Goatman's Bridge after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nothing happened there. So that's why I was all like, okay, maybe it was just too much people, but it's got to be. I feel like it's got to be at the right time.
You know, I did pick up one EVP there, and then there was like a group of kids, and it was really, really dark. It was really dark out there. You could barely see the hand in front of you. But I felt this one kid just kept staring at me, and I was asking one of my coworkers there. I said, "Is he staring at me?" And when
there is no kid.
Oh God.
So I was saying, because there was a time where I went bowling for the first time this past year, and I went to this bowling alley in Grand Prairie, Texas, and I walked in there, and there was a league going on, and it was pretty active. But I felt like really, really strong, like something to my right and something to my left. And it was on the right was the kitchen, and on the left was like the booth where people sign in and stuff. So I bowled a couple of rounds, and then I walked back up to the front desk, and I asked the guy, I go, "Hey man," is this place haunted? He looked at me for a long time. He goes, "Yes, it is. The owner died here." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Where?" He goes, "The kitchen." I go, "Where's the kitchen?" He goes, he pointed over to the right where I was. When I walked in, I felt a big, strong pull. I can't describe it. It's almost like you feel like, you know how you feel like when someone's looking at you and like someone's staring at you and you want to look, but you don't. That's usually what I felt. Like something was like staring at me, and I go, "What the heck?" And so I felt this pull to go right, but I didn't. I went to the desk and got my shoes and stuff. But he was telling me that whenever they close at night, sometimes whenever they're cleaning up and stuff, he hears somebody in the kitchen doing stuff, and then he'll see like his coworker come out a different door. And he goes, "Hey, were you in the kitchen?" They go, "No, I wasn't in the kitchen." So he says the owner hangs out in the kitchen sometimes. So
so he died in the kitchen.
Yes.
Wonder what happened.
I think he had a heart attack. That's what he was telling me. So, but that was kind of strange. And I don't think I can just like walk into a house and say, "Okay, I feel this." I can't do that. It's like,
I mean, you could.
I probably could. And
that's what I was saying. Like you haven't been put in that position where you're.
So if I do that, then it probably would never turn off.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. So, you know how skeptical I am, which is weird because of all the crap that I've experienced,
especially in your house. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, so if a person, I'm just saying, like, if you were put in that situation, okay, like if you went on a ghost hunt somewhere and someone asked you, do you feel anything, blah, blah, blah. What would keep your imagination just from creating stuff, and how would you ever verify if any of it was true or not?
Yeah. Yeah, I
mean, that's the issue with me, is like, if it's verifiable information, great, but I never get to see the part that's verified,
Yeah.
I don't think people do enough legwork. I think people just make claims and people believe it, and they rise to popularity that way.
I'm a big fan of the Dead Files. I don't know if you ever watched that show. Do you?
Yeah, I have. I'm familiar with
Steven, you watched it?
I think I've seen like maybe an episode or two.
So I like their style, the way they do it, because the guy, the lead investigator guy, he used to be like a New York detective or something. So he does a lot of the legwork. He goes to the house and he looks up history stuff. He goes to the library. He talks to, people in the town and stuff like that.
That's not that same one where it's like, you
guys saw a ghost. Okay. You got any peppers and sausage? But anyway,
sprinkle some salt at the door.
So he does that. And then he brings in the psychic, and they don't talk. So she comes in and she feels her way through the house and write stuff down, and then at the very end they meet up for the first time, and they share their information to the customer, the client.
What they find.
Yeah. And like 89%, probably 80 to 90% of the time is pretty close.
Or that's just how they make it look on TV.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they wouldn't have a TV show.
There's also that.
That's my issue right there, is like, I need to see it happen for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because all we know is like, yeah, they had a production meeting before they filmed. Like, okay, we're going to bring you in. You're going to act like you've never been here before.
You're going to say this.
Yeah. Like, I don't trust people, because I was really into Ghost Hunters whenever it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Taps crew.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I don't even remember where it was. I think it was like on Yahoo or something. I ended up finding this online chat where it was like the Taps crew members that weren't Grant and Jason.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Wheezy or whatever. It was like the main dude there.
Yeah.
But like, I became like friends with him and like his girlfriend and like that chick that was on the show at the beginning, Donna or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was talking to those people on a regular basis. And by a regular basis, I mean like every single day, pretty much. Like at least 5 or 6 times a week.
Wow.
Like hanging out multiple hours in a group chat, talking to them. And I got to know them, and I got to find out that like, yeah, all that stuff was staged. Like, it was all fake. It was just for TV. Like, there was really a Taps crew and everything. Like, they really did do investigations.
Yeah.
But as far as like the TV show, like the stuff that was on it, that was staged by production. That was all fake.
You know, and I'm gonna go here for a little bit, and we could probably edit this out if you're not comfortable talking about this, Matt. But I know we've talked off show about certain podcasts, Bigfoot podcasts, that just have amazing stories, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know I've talked to Steven off show about this, and I said, I don't, because right now we don't get a lot of people that tell us stories or want to tell us stories. Because like as an investigator, you kind of experience this too, Matt. Sometimes it's hard to get people like to talk to you, open up and talk to you about Bigfoot stories. So some of these podcasts, are like out right now. They're like the epicenter for Bigfoot stories. And some of these stories are not on databases, and some of them have like some like paranormal aspects to it. So I know you, and I know myself, we pride ourselves on getting real stories. I'm not saying that these stories are not real, but they sure get a lot of them. And they're pretty fantastic. Like, these are stories that I have never heard of. I said, wow, that's pretty amazing. That's an amazing story. I wonder how this person got this story. And so I'm not saying it, but I'm kind of saying it. So, that some of these stories are kind of made up.
There's this guy I know. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've heard of him. Sean Forker.
Yes.
Sasquatch Experience.
Yes, I know of him. I've never met him, but I know of him.
I was just speaking to him a few days ago, where this very topic came up. I had reached out to him to get his opinion on something.
Yeah.
And I wanted his opinion specifically. So I used to be a Bigfoot researcher. Mm-hmm. Like, went out into the field investigating. Mm-hmm. Then over time, I quit going out into the field. Now I'm just a Bigfoot podcaster. If you want to even just put me as a Bigfoot podcaster. But anyways, I'm a podcaster. And I do a podcast where people come on my show and share their encounters. I'm not doing an investigation. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing a research interview. I'm basically just providing a platform and trying to provide a little bit of entertainment and hopefully some education in the process, and maybe help a few people along the way. That's as far as it goes. But there are podcasts out there, like the Sasquatch Experience, for instance, that focus more on the research stuff and don't focus on the stories and discuss topics. And in my experience, not that those podcasts aren't great, but I ran across a saying recently: if people ate salads, McDonald's would be selling salads instead of hamburgers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those podcasts tend not to do as well as these other podcasts that are just Bigfoot story time. And the scarier the story, the more action, the better the episode does. Mm-hmm. And that creates quite a dilemma for me as a former investigator and a skeptic and everything. Because, I mean, sometimes just honestly, I'll have a witness on. I usually don't talk to them a lot beforehand because I want to give an honest reaction to their story and kind of hear it for the first time on air. And sometimes, not real often, but sometimes after the episode's over and I've hung up with the witness and everything, I'm just kind of sitting there thinking like, wow, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
There are some red flags in that story. And so it kind of creates, this conundrum for me. Well, this past week, a witness reached out to me through email, gave me a brief summary of their story. I responded back, hey, that's really interesting. I asked him a few questions. And after an exchange, I was like, would you like to come on the podcast sometime and share your story? Yeah, I would love to. Great. We'll schedule something. Later on that day, I'm perusing the internet and I happen to see a promo post by another Bigfoot podcast, a very, very, very much larger Bigfoot podcast than mine. Won't say any names. Rhymes with Rascrotch Chronicles. And they were doing a promo for an upcoming show with the same guy that had just reached out to me that morning. The same exact witness. So now I know that this guy is just sending out emails to different podcasts trying to get on the air.
So he's doing the
kind
rounds.
That's kind of a red flag. And then in the promo, I'm like reading it and everything. And there's one detail, but it's a main detail about his story where it's different than what he told me. Just in the promo.
Red flag.
Yeah. So like,
two big ones.
I called Sean because he does this, research-based podcast. And I was just like, what should I do here? Because you know how it is. Like, first off, it's pretty dangerous to dare say any popular podcast out there would be lying or manufacturing content. Mm-hmm. People don't like that. They go rabid. You're jealous. You just want to be as big as they are, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I'm not trying to attack the podcast because, like, this witness reached out to me, too. Mm-hmm. And, like, whatever, that happens, I guess. But, like, that one detail, and, I mean, it's a big one. I don't want to give it away, but it's a big one.
Right.
And I'm just like, should I just call this guy out? Should I, what should I do? And after talking to Sean, it was kind of like, go ahead and have him on. Let him tell a story. And listen to the other podcast. And if there's any differences, just ask him about it. Why was this changed?
Yeah.
Why did you change this part of your story? And just be transparent about it on air.
Yeah. Just say, hey, I noticed this.
Now, maybe if that guy listens to this episode, he's like, well, I'm not coming on your show. Yeah. But I mean, like, what do you do? Because you can vet people. Like I've
it's hard
been on other podcasts where I've actually interviewed another Bigfoot podcaster and just asked him, like, what do you do? Like, how do you keep people from coming on your show and just lying?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I asked them certain questions, to vet them and blah, blah, blah. But then I see the same person like posting just bullshit on his Facebook page that's like obviously not Bigfoot related, that he's like trying to call Bigfoot. So he's either lying or doesn't know what he's talking about. So what questions does he use to vet these witnesses? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough.
And we've been in situations where like you would have to do a pretty deep dive into somebody's story and investigate it for a while and get to know the person before you'd ever figure out that they were hoaxing or not.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. Man.
So, I mean, I think, well, no, you can't guarantee that somebody's telling the truth.
Right.
Even if they are making stuff up, it still might be a little bit of information, a little bit of education for people that are listening.
Yeah, it could cause somebody to say, you know what, I'm not crazy. Maybe I should go out and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go out to, reach out to Bigfoot Crossroads and talk to them about this amazing story.
They should. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's always bugged me. And I know you and I, we talk about that a lot,
Yeah.
Because, as you know, you're a really good friend of mine, and we talk like, once or twice a week, usually, right?
Yeah.
And like we talk about other stuff. We talk about, your health issues. Yeah. Sandwiches, my health issues, your health issues, what's going on in Tulsa, Haircuts. What's new on 71st Street, stuff like that.
Daylight Donuts.
Daylight Donuts.
So,
but I mean, like, a very long, drawn out way to get right back to your point that you were making.
Mm-hmm.
During that phone conversation with Sean, we were talking about, if you really think about it, between my show that I try to put out at least once a week,
mm-hmm.
and then the other shows, I mean, there's that one show, I can't remember the name of it, but they put out like 4 episodes a week. There's lots of really big Bigfoot podcasts out there that are putting out tons of shows, that have put out tons of shows. I think Sasquatch Chronicles is like in the thousands or close to it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Vic's show is probably up there.
Man, he is busy. He's
so
a busy dude.
if you like look at it, like all those witnesses, there's more witnesses reaching out to podcasts and going on podcast episodes than are actually submitting Bigfoot reports.
Yeah. So it's hard.
How is that possible?
And so it's hard to vet some of that stuff,
How is that possible?
I don't know. They're good writers.
Like more witnesses than actual sightings.
Yeah.
or Bigfoot and Dogman are being seen constantly, all over the place.
This is what I think is happening. I know I'm going to sound, cynical here, but some of these people are probably reading like Bigfoot stories and then changing it to fit their storyline or their area, their research or whatever. So, because I think some people are just like putting 2 stories together, or maybe just changing some of the original story.
I mean, it's easy to lie on that.
Yeah. All you have to do is listen to like a handful of podcast episodes and just take bits and pieces and put them together.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just need core things. Where was it? What did you see? How crazy do you want to make it sound?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I can't prove it, but I heard one podcast episode where I'm certain it was a person that had come on my podcast and told a story. And on this podcast, they were using a different name and telling an entirely different story.
Mm.
And I'm certain it's the same person. Same accent, same voice, everything.
So when on that, Matt, when you see or hear about this kind of stuff, does it ever occur to you? Because I don't know, I've never asked Robert this. Like, if this person, I was like, man, I just had this person, and he told a great story, and then you find out later on that it was all hoax and a lie. Does that do you worry that you lose credibility as a show on that?
Great question.
Like, do you feel like you're going to be hit with, well, you're a researcher. How come you didn't research that this was like a fake? And stuff
internally,
like that?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
So
especially coming from the Bigfoot world, because I mean, like, whenever it comes to Bigfoot research, like, integrity is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like, me and Robert come from a time where, like, if you got caught lying or making something up, or being involved with a hoax, even if it was just like your friend hoaxed or you knew somebody that lied or something, like that was it. You were ruined. You were put on blast.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
People forget easy, right? People forget easy.
Yeah. But I'm sure I am a much harsher critic on myself than the listeners are.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I'm just putting it out there. I did have one guest come on, and like I had never talked to him before. I knew he had a story. I'd seen him post in different groups a lot and everything. I asked him to come on. He was telling his story, and I was like, okay, you know, the show had just kind of started rolling. Really hadn't gotten into that deep part of the conversation yet. And I was just like, so how many Bigfoot encounters have you had? And he was like, sightings or encounters? And I was like, sightings. And he's like, 36. I was just like, huh?
He's like the Bigfoot whisperer.
Yeah, like 36.
Okay.
Like you've had
Encounters.
36.
How many encounters then?
Yeah, like I at that point I couldn't even go any further.
Yeah,
and like sure enough, you know, I went ahead and put the episode out, and like instantly people were like, "Well, I heard this guy on a different podcast, and he said an entirely different number," you know, and like his story changed, like blah blah blah. He's lying, like he was getting called out by a bunch of people, and he went on there in the comments and was like getting really defensive, obviously, but he was also trying to like drag me into it and was like tagging me, trying to get me to delete the comments and like take up for him because he was my guest.
Doesn't work that way.
And I was like, dude, you're on your own, bro. Like I provide the platform, you provide the story.
Yeah.
You chose to tell that story. Like I'm not going to just side with you because you were on my podcast. Like I don't know you like that.
I just realized that Matt's doing Snake Plissken right now.
What do you mean?
He's, you know, he's not trying to save him. He's, you know, he's not a hero.
Oh yeah.
So,
President of what? I gotta watch that movie again.
yes.
Yeah, since we did that episode, I feel like I need to, and I want to watch The Thing.
Yes. Starman.
Which one?
These are all John Carpenter movies.
You know, I own several John Carpenter movies.
Which ones? Tell us.
Name 100.
Dang it. I bought a box of VHS tapes from John Carpenter.
Oh, nice. VHS.
Like you like on Etsy or eBay or something?
No. From John Carpenter.
What?
He was in town or something?
No. So like he has like a Facebook page that I follow, like an official page. And I know it's not him posting or anything, but they sling his merchandise. And like one night I'm just sitting on the internet randomly and they make a post about, hey, John's selling his VHS collection. And for X amount of dollars, you can get a box of 10 random VHS tapes from his shelf in his living room. And like it came with like an autograph photo and everything.
Dang.
So I like bought 10 VHS tapes of John Carpenter.
What were the movies?
Nothing good. Like they were all really bad.
Oh no.
I think maybe I've got the box right here.
Is it like his movies or just movies he collected?
No, just like movies he just owned to watch.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
They were just like random crap.
I thought there were movies that he made that he had, and I was like,
No,
man, that's very narcissistic.
No.
Damn. So there were.
I mean, that's what I
zero.
thought at first. And then I was like, well, maybe there'll be like something really cool and obscure, you know? But like,
No.
I mean, no.
No.
He had like a bunch of like really old things in there, like black and white stuff that you wouldn't even think like John Carpenter would be into. But no, who knows? You don't know John Carpenter.
No one knows John Carpenter, only him.
But he did have one cool one that was like kind of like this obscure old like horror collection or something. I think maybe Die Hard was in there.
Wow.
Maybe Die
Nice.
Hard was like the best one.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
But I also got the autographed photo.
Yeah, that's
that was worth it.
Yeah. I think I paid like $80.
Did you ever tell?
That's not bad.
No.
For an autograph picture and 10 random
Yeah,
movies.
and it was like limited to like, I don't remember how many, like 25 or 50 boxes or something like that.
Wow.
Did you tell like Wolfgang about this?
Yeah.
Okay, so he knows. Okay,
He knows.
Of course I told Wolfgang.
He knows.
Wolfgang Moser.
But yeah, no, I need to. Someone said too, like older movies, like on 4K now, is like they're already saying it on Blu-ray, but now they're saying like don't get older movies on 4K. You will see things that you would not want to see that will ruin the movie. And I'm all like, what do you mean? Like I want the movie. Like you got to admit, like Escape from New York, it's dark as hell. And I think that's what made the movie. It's like it's filmed that way to, it's a dark world, but whatever. But I was like, I want to see it in 4K. But a lot of people were saying, no, don't see it because it's like.
Well, I mean, he used a lot of cameras that could film in dark.
Yeah.
So, and it was brand new at the time. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't know if there's a couple shots of him looking at the president's egg, and it was like out of focus, like because of the fire in the background. It was like a light flare or something. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. We're talking about this movie. So.
No, I'm just saying. Like I want to. There's certain because I love John Carpenter. There's certain movies that I want to get that are on 4K because I want to do it and. The thing is one of them. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. But a lot of people are saying like, no, don't get it on 4K because it's not gonna. It's just
who's saying this to you?
It's just like people,
who are these people? Tell us where they live, Steven.
Okay, so here it is. So I was on YouTube and I looked up 4K like versions of it, and it looks good to me. But I always read the comments, and a lot of people are saying like, this looks so much better on VHS than it does now. I'm like, what? I've never heard of that. And they're like, no, you don't. It's like taken away from, the old school and how it was filmed. And it's like, and I'm like, that what?
Do you remember when VHS they provided the widescreen one?
Yes,
yeah. And like,
I wanted that because I wanted to see the whole shot.
Not me. I didn't have the widescreen TV, so I used to get pissed off and like look for the standard definition.
Oh man, no! As I grew older, I was like, "Oh no, I want the widescreen because I want to see the whole shot."
Yeah, because I do recall I already had a collection of VHSs, and then there was when they put out the widescreen. I go, shit, I got to get these now.
Oh, dude, my uncle was in the Navy and was like stationed over in Japan. This was whenever I was like a little kid, and he came home, and I remember like the first time we went over to his house after he got home, and he was like, "Hey, Matthew. Check this out." And he like starts whipping out these laser discs, like movies on a gigantic CD, And
I do remember that.
Yeah, this is the newest technology. They're so great. Blah blah blah. This is going to be the next big thing, man. Like, oh, is it? Not in America, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, hope you enjoyed that. I mean, they'd be cool to have now, but like,
yeah, it'd be
nobody wants a giant disc that you can scratch and just ruin instantly.
Oh, so it's like the size of a pizza or something.
It was like almost. It almost looked like a record.
Yeah, a vinyl record, but it was
like
a
movie?
DVD.
Yeah, but it was like golden one or something, right?
Yeah.
So
I never heard of this.
Yeah, this
had like a giant player that you put it in. It was crazy.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Laserdisc.
Laserdisc. Yeah, I remember.
Wow.
They called them something else overseas, but here they just called them Laserdisc.
My mom's sister, she had one, and I recall we were watching Grease before Grease was out.
What?
You're the one that I want. And it was on TV. And I didn't know we were watching Laserdisc, and we were watching on TV. So I went to school the next day and I said, "Hey man, did y'all watch Grease?"
Like, what?
They go, "What?" I go, "Yeah, it was on last night." They go, "Dude, was it?" I go, "Yeah, it was, man." He goes,
You're like, "Yeah, I saw it on a
rerun." One of the guys brought a TV guide the next day and showed me, "It's not on here.
Shut
Look,
you down.
You fucking asshole! You
You
liar!"
were such pricks, dude.
I know. I go, "Damn it!"
I'm bringing my TV guide
Who brings
tomorrow.
a TV guide?
This dumb kid.
Look, man, you liar!
So
Grease wasn't on.
So
You asked your aunt?
Yeah, no, I asked my mom. I go, what were we watching? And she called my aunt and she said it was a laser disc.
Oh, so you had to go to school and like Laserdisc. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
What's a laser disc?
What do you mean you saw it?
You're
It's
making that
brand
up,
new.
man. That doesn't even exist.
He threw the TV guide at me.
You fucking liar! And he just threw the TV guy at you.
Man, this is a good way to end the podcast.
No. We can keep going for 3 hours.
Okay.
It had Charlie's Angels on the cover. Magnum PI.
Did he really bring a TV guide?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, what grade was this?
This was like let me see. It was probably like second grade,
Second grade.
second or third grade.
No video games.
Well,
that's what
if
it was.
it makes you feel any better, I'm sure his dad beat his ass for taking the TV guide.
Probably beat him with the TV guide.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like something you would get your ass kicked for as a
Yeah,
kid?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I took the TV guide to school and lost it.
Yeah.
Well, I threw it at the kid who said
This
he was
kid
watching
said
Grease.
was on last night.
and I wanted to see Grease.
Man, because
Matter of principle.
Yeah.
that's funny. That's super funny.
You're the one that I want.
There is this this couple at this is such a stupid story. I don't even know if I want to tell it.
No, you gotta
No, you gotta tell it. You gotta tell
now.
it. You gotta tell it.
Okay, so first it starts out with whenever I was a kid, we had a lake house. But it wasn't like we're rich or something. It was just a trailer in a trailer park. And, you know, my grandparents had saved all their money. And so we just like bought a boat dock up there and rented a trailer. But as a kid growing up, there was like nothing to do. But there was like this other kid, this girl that came up there sometimes to stay with her dad. And they had a VCR. We didn't have a VCR because my grandparents were anti-technology. But they had a VCR. So we would like watch movies. But like the only movie that they had that was like any good for like kids to watch was like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah.
And we watched it so many times that we could like recite it. Like every line in the movie. It was crazy. So there was these people that we knew that lived in the town by the trailer park. And this town was probably like a half mile away from the trailer park. So it was within walking distance, but it was kind of a long walk. And these people, it was a really small town, lived in the furthest house on the opposite side of the town. So it was like probably a mile to their house. So these people, it's crazy. So they had like garage sales all the time because they were really nice people. I don't want to make these people sound bad, but they were running a fencing operation.
A fencing?
Yeah, like in this small town, like people would bring them stolen merchandise and they would sell it in these garage sales all the time.
Oh.
Wow.
But they were really nice people. And they had the largest movie collection I've ever seen in my life. They had an entire room. Like it wasn't like a cool theater room or anything because it's a small town. But they had like a TV room, you know, on the back of the house, like added on. That had like a couple of recliners, a big screen television, and then the rest of the room was just shelves with movies on them. VHS and Beta.
Wow.
Huge collection. And I watched we would walk there and they would like let us borrow movies. And we would take them back to her trailer and like watch all these movies. And I saw so many movies, just random crap, but they literally had everything. But that's where I saw like the majority of all the horror movies that I saw as a kid was like borrowing movies for them. Nothing like really great, but just like random obscure stuff. Like Razorback. Have you ever seen the horror movie Razorback? About a giant Razorback hog? Exactly. But they had it. I saw like the Wizard of Oz sequel. Seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had a sequel.
Yeah, there was a sequel. Seen it.
Is it
It's
good?
crazy. They had so many movies, man.
No.
So that's
So whenever you walked into that TV room or that added on room, how did you feel? What was going through your
Well,
mind?
I mean, first, I had to take my shirt off and be on camera for a little while. But after that, they let me take whatever movie I wanted.
oh.
And I'm kidding. They never did that. They never did that.
It was my pants. No.
That might have been going on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen to me.
Well, that's good.
I mean, did you feel like a church choir was going off whenever you walked in? You saw all those movies?
Yeah. It was that same feeling you got whenever like you would go to like the store as a kid and like walk into the toy aisle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like yeah. It was great.
It's like what lies beyond this aisle is between.
But like the only thing was like the vast majority of the movies, because like I was raised by my great grandparents, like I said, they're anti-technology. So like, I mean, just as an example, the only time I would get to like order pizza for dinner was like on my birthday. Like that was like a special treat. I get to like have whatever I wanted, so I could like order a pizza, or we could go to like Taco Bell. Otherwise, none of that stuff was happening.
Did you order like was it Mazio's?
Probably so. Yeah.
Taco Bell in the 90s.
Yeah.
That was like
Taco Bell in the 80s, bro.
That was top tier, probably.
They had the Enchilito then.
Let me tell you about the fabled Taco Light Supreme.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
It was like a flour corn shell. It was like a soft shell, but it wasn't a soft taco. It was still crispy, but it was like made out of flour instead of corn, and it was huge, and it was delicious.
Yeah. See, and I always thought 90s Taco Bell was top tier. But no, don't you hate, Matt, whenever you hear about like a ghost story? Because I heard this yesterday. My wife, Blair.
My wife.
She was listening to the radio, and she was
Blair Witch Project.
I wish, but no, she was listening to the radio, and she was like, hey, have you heard about this ghost story about in a cemetery in Dallas where it's like there's 3 chairs and you're not supposed to sit in these chairs because something will happen. And like she said something like an anthropologist brought his wife there, and there was like these kids that happened to sit in the chair while he was there with his wife, and the wife was too close and something happened, like a portal opened and the kids went through and then the wife went through and they were never seen. I told her, I was like, that sounds like an urban legend.
Sounds like poltergeist.
And then a dragon flew out.
A dragon flew out and then started breathing fire. And
Where was this at?
it's supposedly a cemetery in Dallas. And then I was all like, where did you hear this? And she was like, oh, I heard it on 106.1 Kiss FM. I go,
Do you want to hear?
Did you just do a malarkey?
yeah.
Do you want to hear a horrible cemetery story?
Yes.
I do have one. This happened whenever I was a kid here in Tulsa. And like this is really horrible, but it's kind of creepy. So like I don't know who it was. Like I said, I was just a kid, so I only got the information that was given to me by adults. But I guess some people like went into the cemetery at nighttime and were like desecrating headstones and stuff and being assholes, and they broke into one of the mausoleums and took one of the bodies out. And there's this like iron fence that goes all the way around the cemetery, and they like impaled the body on the fence, and that's how it was like found the next day.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's not even scary. That's just fucked up.
It is.
I know, but I'm saying as a little kid, okay, I didn't see it, obviously.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about it, and like in my head I could see the body, because like my grandparents did tell me, it was like this, some woman, like an older woman or whatever, and I'm just, so like I always like pictured like this decayed corpse just impaled on this iron fence at the cemetery.
Yeah.
And it used to like freak me out. And there's this back road that goes back behind the cemetery, and it's really weird. Just the whole layout's weird. And like the neighborhood back behind the cemetery isn't that great or anything. And I knew somebody over there. I think it was some girl that I was taking home or whatever. And like, you had to drive down this back road on the back side of the cemetery. And the graves went like right up to this fence, and like that iron fence went all the way around the cemetery, except on this one section of back road. And it was just like this old wire dilapidated fence that was like all overgrown, and like you could see like the graves right there, and the road's real small and stuff. And it's just all overgrown with trees and everything. It was just so scary back there. And I used to freak out every time I'd take her home.
So you didn't venture in?
No, I did not. I don't mess with cemeteries, man.
Why do you
I've been
yeah
in cemeteries that I'm not supposed to be in a couple times at nighttime. And I don't mess with them, man. I mean, I don't know if it's because I grew up in this house or whatever, but I can tell you right now, I personally believe I am extremely sensitive to that stuff. And I have definitely walked into a few places in my lifetime and instantly felt something and had it confirmed by whoever. I've experienced things in other houses, and I never really thought about it. Like, I thought it was weird. I mean, you go through these things in your mind like, okay, am I just crazy? Am I just imagining this stuff? Because, like, how come my house is haunted, but then the first house I ever move into on my own is haunted, and then, like, my mom's house is haunted, and then my cousin's house is haunted. All these houses are haunted.
Yeah. Like,
What are the odds of that? And then, like, later on, it was kind of pointed out, like, well, maybe you can just, you know, sense them and see them and hear them and everything else that other people can't.
Yeah, I was about to say that because it's probably, you know, everybody.
But I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Know?
People die everywhere.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, those cemeteries, there's been a couple of them where it's just like, nope. Mm-mm.
I think the last one I went to, I experienced a lot of stuff here in Irving. And that's probably like a year ago. And I experienced a lot of stuff there. I caught some EVPs of a girl singing. And I think I visibly saw someone standing to my right, and I thought it was one of my coworkers, and I turned to talk to her, and she wasn't there. So I thought she's walking beside me because I was looking at my digital recorder and my K2 meter, and I was like trying to talk to somebody, and I turned to my right and said, "Hey, did you get?" And there was nobody there.
What was the one where you heard the little girl saying, "Hey, where's my mommy?" And it was like in the woods.
That was in Moyers, Oklahoma, over by Kenny's cabin.
That's right. I want to hear that EVP, but I don't.
Yeah, I think it was on Kenny's stuff. I
thought it was on one of your EVPs.
No, it was like we were going over like video and audio. And we at the time we didn't have a lot of money, so we had like a couple of game cams, and then we had some digital recorders. So we randomly, like, we would tell each other, "Don't tell me where you're going to put this. Let's just go put it out somewhere." So that way we didn't know,
right?
And so he would put out game cams, and I would put out digital recorders and stuff. So that was really eerie because there's nobody up there.
Yeah, that's. You said it sounded like a little girl.
Yeah, it says "mommy." So
let me ask you this: another paranormal conundrum that I've had. So you've got places that are haunted, like houses, businesses, and stuff. Like you're talking about the bowling alley where the owner died. Obviously, if you own a restaurant or a bar or something, you are very emotionally invested in that place,
right?
If you work there and go to work there every day and you spend the majority of your time there, or you live in a house or whatever, like the common belief is these spirits are tied to these places because that's where they lived, or that's where they spent their time, or they had this emotional connection to the place, or even an object, you know, like a chair can be haunted if, you know, it belonged to somebody. But why would ghosts haunt a cemetery?
Could be a couple things. There's a couple things I think about. Could be the grounds. It could be, you know, could have some quartz there, or it could have some limestone. It could have like underwater water running through it. So, because water is a big conductor of energy, quartz, and it harnessed energy. So it could be a couple of things. It could be that. It could be, I don't think there's any ley lines going through Oklahoma or Texas, but there are like electrical right of ways.
Why do you say quartz again?
Quartz, because it harness energy.
Okay.
So
is it because, say if someone passes away and then it takes time to do the funeral and all that, they're obviously tied to their body still, and they can't figure out what the heck happened. And then when they do the funeral and they actually go to the cemetery and they stay there, is it because they can't get out because they're stuck there, or is it because they haven't really fully accepted that they're gone? And they're constantly looking at a grave, and they're all like, "No, I'm not dead. I can't be dead."
Or maybe they're tied to their body.
Yeah,
that's possible. They're
tied to their body because when they passed, they either the light wasn't shown, they chose not to leave.
It could be that they're wearing a ring, or jewelry, or some kind of heirloom that they have that they're buried with. That's the reason why they're like tied there. Could be. I don't know. There's different possibilities. I mean, this is all conjecture.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's just something that I've always wondered, because you also hear stories of like spirits visiting people in other places, like especially like my friend Roddy, who's Cherokee, his family believes that like the first 3 nights, I think, the spirit goes around and visits everybody and goes to every place it was like familiar with the most. And whenever his uncle died, he actually had to go and stay the night in the house the first night because there needs to be somebody there that they're familiar with. And he experienced some things. He doesn't like to talk about it because he doesn't believe you should talk about it.
Right.
But it's just the concept that a spirit can intelligently choose to go visit somebody or go someplace. So it just always kind of like, why would they just hang out at a cemetery? It just seems like.
So I know we use the word sometimes tethered. They're tethered to, their resting place because maybe like I said, could be the grounds, could be, some kind of ring or metal object.
Could it be tethered to a person?
Could be.
So if it could be like someone that they truly loved.
Or didn't have the final say with somebody.
The final say, yeah, exactly. Perfect. That they never really had a proper goodbye, so they have to feel like they have to, or they feel like they have unfinished business to save them or something like that. I don't know, or protect them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's possible to be tied to another person on that.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Do you either one of you believe you've been visited by someone you knew?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will say it as, for me, it's always been dreams.
Yeah.
And I think they have the power to do that.
Same here.
I'm not talking about dreams. I'm talking about like, have you seen the spirit of someone that you knew?
No. I don't know how I would. Well, yes and no, but at the same time, I don't know because I had sleep.
I've had feelings.
Yeah.
I've had feelings, but the vast majority of hauntings is strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think whenever my friend Bartek overdosed and died, I took that pretty hard. And I was pretty hard because I was living with him at the time. And then I went out of state to go help a friend and move back. And then he passed. And I took it pretty hard. I had to clean out his apartment because he didn't have any family here. So I cleaned out his apartment. And I was living with my mom and my dad because I had just moved back then. And I had a couple of at my dad's house, he had pictures on the wall and he had a couple of swords, like some old swords hanging. And when there was a couple times, I think a picture fell off and I felt he was there. And then I asked him if he was here, send me a message, and the sword moved. It kind of swung. it didn't fall, but it swung, you know, and it was out of place. And so that was probably the only time, Matt, that I felt like I was being visited by someone I knew that had just passed.
Yeah, because he broke a promise.
Yeah, he broke to me. Yeah,
felt guilty.
Yeah,
never really got to say goodbye.
No,
and yeah,
the last time I talked to him was like 3 days before he passed, and I told him that I loved him, and he said he loved me, and I said I'll see you in a couple of days, and I didn't, we didn't get to.
I think I was visited one time by somebody that I knew, and I don't think I've ever told this story before.
No, I don't think I've ever heard it.
It was my grandfather, not my great grandpa that raised me, but my actual grandfather, who was a horrible person. And it was right after he had passed away. And it was during the daytime. I was here. I went back to my bedroom, and I had just laid down on my bed, and I rolled over on my side and reached for my phone because it was on the night table next to my bed. So my back was now turned towards the door. Now I was just going in there to get my phone and just lay down, and I was going to call somebody or something. I wasn't asleep, in other words. I wasn't tired. I wasn't taking a nap or anything like that. It was just the easiest way to get to my phone was to lay on my bed. And as I was reaching for my phone, right behind my head, right next to my ear, I heard his voice say, "That's my baby boy." And it scared the shit out of me. It wasn't like a loving sentiment.
Right.
It was like a creepy, evil thing.
Like he was
like the way that he would have said it. Like I said, he was an evil man. And it freaked me out, man.
Where did he pass at? Where did he pass at?
I couldn't even tell you, man. His house, I think.
Okay.
His house or a hospital or something.
Did you have any kind of attachments with him there? Did you have any kind of furniture, pictures?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure there's stuff here that belonged to him. I mean,
that was your only encounter with him?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the only time that I can say that I think it was somebody I knew. I mean, like I said, I've had feelings and stuff. Yeah. I've definitely been visited in my dreams by people. But as far as an actual thing happen,
yeah, that's
the only time.
I mean, the only thing I could think of, because I consider you family, and so when I was in Tulsa, I saw your grandmother.
Well, I can't confirm that.
So
you saw someone.
I saw somebody, and it was
that looked like a woman in a picture.
Yeah.
But she looked like her mother.
Yeah.
And okay, so yeah. If you want to count my great-great-grandmother.
My hair's standing up right now.
Then I guess yes, but I don't remember her.
They both lived in that house, right?
Yeah.
So who would go and open up the cabinets and leave them open?
See, I think that was my great-great-grandmother, because that stuff was going on whenever I was a kid. And then here's one that's kind of weird. Going back to the lake house again. So whenever I got older, I had my own key to the lake house. As an older guy, hey, I've got a lake house. Y'all want to go up there and hang out?
Yeah.
And there was this one time that I was up there with a buddy of mine and a girl. And this guy that was up there with us claims he saw my grandfather. Like my great-grandpa. But my great-grandpa wasn't dead. But he he knew him. And I mean, he was freaked out. He was for sure freaked out. And he was like, "I just saw your grandpa." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "I just saw your grandpa. Standing in the doorway in a tank top, undershirt, and underwear." Which is what my grandpa wore to bed every night. and he wouldn't know that.
Right.
But my grandpa was still alive. So I had no explanation for that.
Premonition, maybe?
I don't know.
Premonition, yep.
Interesting.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But no, I can't say I got visited.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would handle that.
You know, I like you were saying about Exocena, but I've had multiple dreams, about your mom, and she was always in the area where I couldn't get to her. Like she looked like she was in the airport. I was in the airport, and she was in
The balcony?
yeah, like a second level where I had to take a stair or an escalator up, and she was up there waving at me, and I said, "Stay there." And like she wasn't near the stairwell or escalator, and I ran up an escalator, and I ran to the spot where she was at, and she was gone. And this happened I probably had 4 dreams like this, and I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I think it was just saying. I think her was saying to me, just to goodbye and to let her go. At that time, I wasn't ready to do it, so
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just had a dream about her holding the boys. That was right after the boys were born.
wow.
Because I remember I was just saying, I was pretty down and pretty hard on myself. I was like, man, it's not fair that I have them and she's not here.
Yeah.
I kept saying that like that. I think the first 2 weeks whenever we brought them home.
She probably met him already.
That's pretty much what the dream was. She was holding them, and then the
Yeah.
boys were smiling at her and loving on her and stuff. And she was like, "I'm always going to be their grandma, even if I'm not here."
Yeah.
And I was like, I broke down in that dream.
Dude, my great grandmother had a brother that died before I was ever born, but he was still alive whenever my mom was young. And so she knew him, and whenever she was pregnant with me, she was staying here at this house, and she had a dream where he visited her and told her to take care of that little boy. And she had no idea if she was having a boy or a girl or anything.
Wow.
That's a good one. It's just funny how I don't know if it's our minds just telling us what we need to.
Well, I think
hear.
I think at the time, because when you're asleep, your mind is completely open, and so I think spirits or entities, they take advantage of that. That's just my theory.
That makes sense. Nightmares happen.
Yeah, and so they're just open to communicate. And there's been times where I can't tell whether I'm asleep or I'm awake. Because those times where I wake up and I sit up on my bed, and I think I'm awake and I'm not, and then I wake up minutes later doing the same thing, sitting up.
Yeah.
I go, damn it! I was asleep the whole time.
Yep.
Or it's I don't know. It's just
Well, there's been times whenever I've been asleep and a car alarm will be going off outside or something, and in my dream, I'll hear it. It will be part of the dream.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll wake up and realize what's going on. And I think the same thing happens. I think
right.
whenever we're in those deep REM sleeps like that, spirits have an easier time of communicating with us.
Yep.
It doesn't take as much effort on their end for some reason. And so that's how they enter their dream in our dreams. They're communicating with us, and maybe in our head we envision them and put them in the dream that we're having or whatever. But I do think there's definitely, at least sometimes, some actual communication happening.
Let me.
I've had dreams about people that I've lost, but I've also had dreams where then all of a sudden the dream is interrupted by the person, and it's its own separate thing. And then after they're gone, I go back to regular dreams and wake up and stuff.
Let me ask both of you this question, because both of you guys are on the CPAP machine, right? So before the CPAP machine, do you both feel that your dreams were vivid, or is with the CPAP machine now in y'all's practice, is your dreams more vivid now?
I feel like my dreams, I don't know. I felt like without the CPAP, I was getting more nightmares because I think my mind was just telling me like, "Hey,
That's what I was getting at.
You're not well. So let's just put this crazy scenario in your head, and we'll get you up." Maybe that's what it was. Maybe like I would stop breathing, and my mind was like putting me in a nightmare situation where I was doing something bad or seeing something bad, and it woke me up to get me up. But now it's just I dream about, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like I think I dreamed a couple times, like when Gibran passed away, I kept having nightmares about that. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I still feel like they're still somewhat vivid. It feels like I'm there, like really there. I don't know. What about you, Matt?
I mean, obviously, I had dreams before I was on the CPAP machine. But for probably the past, like the 2 years leading up to me being put on the CPAP machine, I don't know that I didn't have dreams, but I wouldn't ever be able to remember them whenever I woke up.
Yeah.
It was like shockingly noticeable to me that like, I'm like, man, I don't remember any dreams. And it bothered me. And then whenever I got on the CPAP machine, I started having dreams again that I could remember. And now it's even to the point where, like, if I like wake up because I have to use the bathroom or I'm congested or something, and then I go back and, put the mask back on and all that, I determine if I fell back asleep by if I had a dream or not. Like I'll wake up and remember the dream that I just had and be like, oh, okay, so I fell back asleep and got more sleep, so it's good.
Yep.
Right on. Okay. That's what I was wondering at.
Yeah.
But something that's always happened to me my entire life, still to this day, if my feet get cold while I'm asleep, I have a nightmare.
Interesting. That's a weird one.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I wear socks to bed every night, and I have to have my feet covered up because if I don't, they get cold, and I'll have a nightmare every single time.
Wow.
Like a long nail tickling your feet or something, or nightmare?
No, like a real like bad nightmare.
Man, I can't sleep with socks on.
I can't either. I
can't
have
do
no
it.
control over it. I've tried it a couple times, like especially when I'm sick or something.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up, my socks will be off. Like, what the fuck? I don't remember taking them off. That's
Yeah.
subconsciously, and when I'm sleeping, my body's like, nope, get it off me. Like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Now, if I'm sleeping with my shoes on, I don't know, maybe. But
I got to be tired to sleep with my shoes on.
I've done that before. You remember when I worked at that warehouse job?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like already asleep, passed the F out on the couch.
And I would tell your ass to get up and go to your room.
Yeah, and I was just like, nah, man. That couch was everything,
And
man.
you start swimming.
Yeah, I start swimming, I hold my breath,
Shout out to Rowdy.
Yeah, shout out to Roddy, man. Dude's a legend.
Yeah, he's like a decathlete on the couch.
Almost drowned in his sleep, but you know what? He survived.
Yeah.
Sectional Iron Man.
Yeah. Breaststrokes on the couch.
Yeah, man.
Killing it.
Kicking his legs and everything.
I'll never forget, man, that one time, like, he was staying here and, like, he had some kind of nightmare, dude. I don't know what kind, but, like, he came jumping up off that couch and, like, running for the front door and was, like, trying to open the front door, just freaking out, dude.
That's
and Leslie
horrible.
was, like, sitting there watching TV when it was happening and, like, scared the crap out of her. She was like, what's happening? And she, like, jumped up and was like, Roddy, stop. And he, like, finally woke up. And he was like, oh, what's going on?
Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, man, I was running away from a pool.
Yeah, you got some butter sausage?
Cigarette.
Where were you at?
I don't know. I was probably, like, asleep.
Jeez, man.
That's some good stories, man.
That is some good stories.
Good old stories.
So we're at 1 minute and 38 seconds.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
We still got 3 hours to go.
I know. I want to do a quick shout out. Matt's Chili, his new and revamped healthier recipe. out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that time, because this is when we went to Clifton's funeral, and so we drove from Oklahoma City on I-44 over to Tulsa. Spend the night with Matt. He had chili. We were starving
because we
didn't eat it. We didn't stop at anything.
No,
I just wanted to get to Matt's house. That's all I wanted. Let's get to Matt's.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted to get to Matt's house.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to stop at Buc-ee's, but no. I said let's just go straight to Matt's house, and
he already had the chili ready.
He had the chili ready and crackers and cheese.
You guys want something to drink?
Sour
we got
cream,
Mountain Dew Zero. And, yeah, I guess.
Man, it was good. Yep. It was good. It was so good that it brought Earl the Pearl over.
Yep, he came over,
started shouting
at us, and he's like, "Wow, this chili's really good." Wow, man, this bowl. Wow.
And then Maddie came out. Who is that man?
Who's that man shouting? Jeez.
So loud.
Yeah. So loud.
He is the loudest Anglo-Saxon I've ever met. I'll just say that dude is loud. I love him though.
It was hard to imagine that he was actually whispering at the funeral.
Yeah.
Has he ever been on here?
On our show?
Yeah.
No. We got to get him on.
He has ghost stories. He says.
Does he?
That's what he says.
Have you had him on any of your shows?
No.
Bigfoot Crossroads? Planet Fear?
No. What's
Atmosphere?
Atmosphere. That's the name you've been pushing.
Yeah.
An atmosphere.
Yeah.
Atmosphere.
That's even better. What the hell, man? Matmosphere.
Oh, I love it.
God
that
dang
doesn't make any sense.
It does.
Yeah, dog.
So I came up with this whole scenario with Robert. He was laughing because do it, just do it. I was like, you think Matt will get mad if I started a podcast with myself and called it Atmosphere? And he was like, no. He goes, well, it's like one of the names that I introduced to him, and he turned it down. You think I have to call him and ask for permission? He's laughing.
It was your idea. And I don't want to use it, so why would you need my permission?
Because it was my idea I brought to the table for different names for you. And I feel like it's still on the table,
There's no table here.
Technically, there is. I mean, I brought it to the table. I even said it while I was at his house eating a bowl of chili.
Yeah, you came up with an idea at my house.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need my permission to use.
I don't know. I feel like I gotta call you and be like, "Hey, so I kind of want to bring the whole atmosphere thing to light,
It's not going to be a planet with a skull, right?
No, it's gonna be a skull with eating a planet. And yeah,
what?
Yeah, a skull eating a planet. But its teeth are barely breaking the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's why it's called atmosphere.
Okay,
but you can't see the atmosphere.
Well, I'll just write it on there, on the top of the planet. And it's like, this is the atmosphere.
So dumb.
What is it going to be about?
I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten that far. Well,
okay. Sounds like a really solid plan.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we talked about a bunch of stuff that night.
We did. We stayed up till 2, 3 in the morning.
I think we talked primarily about the reacquisition of a podcast that Matt was sharing with someone else. So
yeah, that's kind of like it's kind of like why I brought
that
this
was
whole thing.
supposed to the plan was for it to debut on Halloween.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
You could do a live one.
I could.
Yeah.
I could just throw caution to the wind and just do it.
Be live on Twitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
I could do that.
Of course.
Probably won't.
But you should.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Matt, how does Bigfoot Club people find your podcast?
I mean, they don't really need to.
Of course they do.
Or any other projects that you're working on.
I mean, they could go to BigfootClubPodcast.com and check out past episodes.
You know what I'm going to do?
Merchandise.
I'm gonna put your podcast link on that podcast link.
Oh man, I found. Okay. I found the perfect domain for you, and somebody's already got it, and it's like a stupid like soccer team in Germany or something.
Fucking dumb.
What's it called?
Yeah, they now have .club domains.
Really?
Yeah, and like this one domain service that I use told me I could have one for free.
Ooh.
So I was going to grab Bigfoot.club. I mean, how perfect is that?
That's perfect.
But it's already taken.
What?
By a German?
Yeah, it's like the Bigfoot Club, you know, like soccer.
Man.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't know that it's German. I think it was. I whatever. But yeah,
I was eating my strudel and I went to Bigfoot Club.
Come and see here.
Come as here. Mamma
Schnell.
mia.
Come and see here. Schnell.
Schnell, yeah.
Oh, man.
Robert.
none of that was German.
Yeah.
He said it while we were going to go see
Schnitzel?
you.
Yeah, we were driving to Tulsa, and we saw like some banner, and then we saw the restaurant. Right, it was
It's
called
like an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, it was called Mamma Mia, right?
Something Mamma Mia.
And so I for some reason said Mamma Mia, come and see.
Schnell, I go an Italian German. Okay. I mean, it's not crazy, but that's just weird.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys have any shout outs? Because I think I can do something with this show.
Yeah, I already gave a shout out to Matt.
Oh, okay.
And his famous chili.
Yeah, I'm going to give another shout out to Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Matt.
Wow,
So
2 shout
I feel
outs.
so shouted out.
you're the best, man.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
Tears for Fears wrote a song about you.
Well, I wouldn't say. So, all right, since that's our shout outs, you want to say goodbye?
Good night and good luck.
Okay.